If I started a YouTube channel in 2025, this is exactly what I would do. Hi everyone, I'm Ishan Sharma and I've been doing YouTube for over 5 years now, over 300 million views on all of my videos, and I have made over $125,000 in just AdSense in the last 5 years. Becoming a YouTube creator has been the best decision of my life, giving me opportunities not just to work with brands, but to also go and give speeches at 40 different colleges across the country, meet with some of the biggest entrepreneurs of the world, not just India, and get to learn from the best people out there and get tremendous opportunities in business, in startups, in content, in just life in general. And I think if you want to start a YouTube channel, there has never been a better time to do so. I think there has never been a better time to become a YouTube creator, and I'll tell you why. YouTube in the last 6 months or so have launched a bunch of new updates which rewards new channels, new faces, up and coming creators, new stories in general, and they want new people to come on the platform and talk about their stories. Gone are the days where million subscriber channels used to dominate the YouTube feed and the trending pages. It's all about those small channels who have highly engaging audiences. And so today I'm going to show you everything that you need to know if you were to start YouTube in 2025. I wish I had this guide when I was getting started. I'll share everything I've learned about YouTube in the last 5 years. So make sure you take a notepad and a pen and note down everything that you think is interesting or insightful. Let's get started with the first and the most important thing. If you want to become a YouTube creator in 2025, ask yourself these 3 important questions. The first question to ask is, why to become a YouTube creator? Why do you want to do YouTube? Before you make videos, before you think about making money, before you think about opportunities, just think about why do you want to do it? Because there will be a lot of hard times. There will be a lot of days in which you're just not getting views. You're not getting the money. You're not getting the reward for the hard work that you put in. But you have to execute and you have to put your head down. We'll talk more about the mindset and everything that is required to make YouTube videos later. But think about, why do you want to do YouTube? It could be because you want to improve your communication skills. That's why I started on YouTube. Maybe you love making videos and love storytelling. Or maybe you want to share your journey and inspire the next generation of people in your space. It could be anything, but your why has to be really strong. Put it on a piece of paper and put it on your wall. Wake up, look at that, and know what your mission is. Because most YouTubers don't get past their 3rd or 5th video. That's the sad story of YouTube creators. They say that only the top 0.003% YouTubers make a living out of YouTube. The problem is the rest 99.997% are just not putting in the hard work. And this is the biggest problem, because you don't get enough motivation, because you don't see the numbers very often, because you don't see the monetization happening very easily, and most people give up because of that. So you have to have a very clear why. That is the most important question. Second is, what will you make? And there are various ways to talk about this, right? The first and the most important one is the type of video that you want to create. There are vlog style videos. There are talking head videos, the one that I'm shooting right now. There are documentary style videos in which you might have seen Mohak Mangal, you might have seen Think School, you might have seen other channels, Magnates Media, James Jani, Jake Tran, all of these are documentary type channels. And then there is streaming, there is gaming montages, there are so many different type of videos you can create, but you have to be very clear about what do you really want to do, right? For me, I was clear that I want to talk about my lessons and just document my journey every single month. Whatever is happening in my life as a 18-year-old when I first started, I would just make videos about that. This is how I got my internship. This is how I got my first freelance client. This is how I dropped out of college. This is how I moved to Bangalore, and everything around it, right? So that was my type of videos, and I've done 1,500 of them in the last 5 years.
Now, sometimes creating content online can get very challenging, especially if you're trying to do it all alone. And that is why leveraging AI can make all the difference, helping you save time and focus on what truly matters. And this AI automation guide by HubSpot can help you get started. From building the basic foundation to automating content and scheduling to converting followers into paying customers. This is a detailed checklist that provides a step-by-step guide to help you automate your complete social media strategy. And the most fascinating part about this guide is that it is beginner friendly and has links to all the tools you might need along the way. Always remember this, it's not only about working harder, but also working smarter. Check out the link in the description to get the guide for completely free, and thanks to HubSpot for sponsoring today's video, and let's get back to how to YouTube.
Now, the next type of category to define what to make is long form or short form, right? That's a very clear confusion that you can have. Should you do short form videos or should you do long form videos on YouTube? The answer is a combination of both, and I'll tell you why. When you do short form videos, you have a chance of it going viral, but at the same time, the affinity people would have towards you would not be as strong as when they are choosing to click on your video, on a long form video on YouTube feed, right? Because there's no intent when someone is scrolling on YouTube. They're just mindlessly scrolling on their phone in their free time. But when they're watching your long format video, they've actually chosen to click on your video and not click any other video in that given time. Let's say someone is having lunch and they have the next 20 minutes available. They go on YouTube feed and they look at your video and they want to click on your video and watch it. That is a high intent. They want to hear from you. They want to see that video and figure out what is it all about. And that makes a huge difference. Long form creators who might get 10,000 views, 30, 40, 50,000 views is still much more valuable than a short form creator who's getting millions of views. I know it might not make much sense, but this is exactly how things work. Short form is great for discoverability, but long form is where you build that connection with your audience. I've met so many people when I go out, and there are two types of people. There is one type which comes to me and says that, hey Ishan, I've seen your videos, I love your content, I want to take a picture with you. I happily take the picture. The second type is, hey bro, I've seen you somewhere. Are you on social? Do you do Instagram? I want to click a picture with you. I click a picture with them as well, but I know for sure that the first type of people have seen my YouTube videos, have seen me talk at length, and the other type has just seen a few reels of me, so they know that this is some person. They might not know my name, but they know that this is some famous celebrity or someone or whatever you want to call it. And that's essentially how it works. So you have to decide for yourself. I know it might seem that short form content is easier than long format videos, but it really pays off. Right? I'm sitting here making this long format video because I know it is more valuable than recording short form content. I do that as well, but there has to be a healthy mix between both, right? In the past 30 days on my channel, I've done over 9.5 million views. About 3 or 2 million of them are from long form content and the rest is from short form. But those views I get from long form content is much more valuable than those 5 or 6 million views that I get from short form content every month. So that is really important to understand. Another point is, what do you want to talk about? Like, what is it that you will be saying? Right now, there are different categories. You can either be a personality driven channel or you can be a topic driven channel, right? That is a thing that you have to decide for yourself. If you don't know about anything, but you want to start making videos, I think it's best to just document your journey and just become better at that. So that makes your personality driven channel in which you're documenting whatever is happening in your life and just sharing your lessons along the way. But let's say you have an interest in movies. Let's say you have an interest in cricket. Let's say you have an interest in travel. Then you have an option to make a topic driven channel in which you would sit down and just talk about that particular topic and make multiple videos around that. Now, what makes more money? We'll talk about that later when we talk about the monetization section. To figure out what videos you will make on YouTube, you can apply the blue ocean strategy here. Basically, take a pen and paper and just write down what niche do you want to make videos in. And then do some research. Who are the top creators in this particular niche? Write down all of their names. Write down what do they make videos upon and create parameters for each video. A parameter could be their editing quality, their humor level, their upload schedule, what is the length of their YouTube video, and every small detail about it. Like, what do they really say at the start of each video? Do they really show their face much, or is it all, infographics and B-rolls? And then figure out a combination which is unique for you, right? Maybe it's possible that there are not many creators who are being humorous and creating short 8 to 12-minute videos. Maybe that is your niche. Tech Burner disrupted the whole Indian tech YouTube space because he became that humorous tech reviewer that no one else was. Everyone was being too serious. And so he came in the picture 2018, 19, 20. I got to meet him and he talked about this and he disrupted the whole space, right? Because he was being humorous, because he was being relatable, because he was talking in the language that people loved to hear. And that is why the bond was built. That is why he is who he is today, right? So you have to figure out what is that space which works out for you, and blue ocean strategy is the best way to do it scientifically. Varna, you can go about in your own gut feeling that I want to make this, but this is how you can do it systematically. So that's the second question to ask. The third question to talk about is, why would someone watch you? Like, genuinely think about this. Why would someone want to watch you? And on YouTube, there are only two things which work. You can either make someone laugh or entertain them. And secondly, you can either educate them. The best example of entertaining people on YouTube is India's Got Latent by Samay Raina, right? He's built a massively viral IP. It gets 10s and 20 million views every video, and he's able to monetize on that very effectively because he's figured out a format which is replicable, right? It's one thing to have one viral video, but it's a whole different game if you can find out one thing which can be replicated multiple times and can go viral. Every single video that he creates goes viral because he's able to entertain audiences. That's the first type of content. The second type is one that educates people, which is what I am creating, which is what you might have seen on Think School YouTube channel. Various ones. There's Mohak Mangal, there's other people as well. But the point is, you are here to share your advice, share some story, talk about some lessons. And that is essentially how it works. You can also do podcasts. That's another type of content that you can create, which could be either entertaining or educating or a combination of both. And that is essentially the three most important questions to ask. I know this was a very big segment, but this is so important. Without asking these three questions, do not start on YouTube in 2025. So now you have a structure which is ready for you. Now, once you're clear about these three questions, let's help you make your first YouTube video. But before that, if you're liking this video, hit the like button as well. There are 6 steps to make your first YouTube video. The first one is ideation. Now, ideation is where you think about what is the topic of the video. And this is the most important thing, right? You can have a trash title, you can have the worst thumbnail, but if the topic is relevant, is trending, is the need of the hour, it will go viral, it will work, people will watch it. So the topic is the most important thing. And the way to find it is very simple. There are various platforms you can go to, or you can also just, as I said, document your journey, share your life lessons. Now, let's say you are an aspiring software developer and you want to make videos around that. Just search up coding on Google and you'll find Quora answers. For the word coding, you'll find multiple questions that people are asking around coding. Those are the most important questions that people want to know answers of. Go to answerthepublic.com and just search that keyword, for example, coding, and you'll get all of the most important questions that people are asking on the internet right now for this keyword. And then you can get ideas for what videos to create right now for that keyword. This is the best way to create unlimited YouTube video ideas. That is how simple it is. You can also go on Google Trends and search that keyword for coding, and you will get all of the most important keywords and searches that people are having right now. And if you make a video on that topic, your video will automatically pop up for them in their explore feeds on Google, on YouTube, and elsewhere as well. So that's essentially how to think about the idea. One more thing you can do is to just share your learnings. The best videos which perform very well for small creators is the ones in which they share their experiences. The best performing videos on my channel are the ones that I've shared about my journey, how I got my internship, how I became a freelancer, how I started my marketing agency, how I moved to Bangalore, how I gave my IIT JEE after coaching and still couldn't make it into an IIT. All of those topics are just personal, right? So you don't have to search about those. You can just make videos on that. And as long as the video is interesting and insightful and relatable to people, they would want to watch it. So these are the 4 ways in which you can come up with ideas for your YouTube video. The next step is the scripting part of it. Now, why do you need to script? You have to script because people have low attention spans, and for them to stay longer for your video and keep watching it, you have to make sure that you're optimizing for every 10 seconds, for every 30 seconds. You have to make sure that you're giving the most value in that video, or you're making them laugh if you're making an entertainment channel. So think about that. How can you do that? For some people, it's best to write a word-to-word script, right? You might have seen Tharun Speaks, you might have seen other creators like Dhruv Rathi. So these are people who have written word-to-word scripts and they're following that. And that works great for them. Others like me and many other creators, they prefer just having a rough outline and just talking about it. Because you have the knowledge, you can just start talking about it and it will work well. I prefer having a rough outline. Like on this laptop, I have a few key points that I want to cover for this video and I'm just talking about it impromptu. And that works really well for me because I think I'm just talking about my experiences and there are no data points or research that I have to say, and that is why it works well. Documentary channels will always have a word-to-word script because they have data, they have stories, they have research to talk about, and hence they need word-to-word script. So depending on what you want to do, this is a personal decision and whatever works best for you. I think the best thing which works for me is just talking out loud. And I'll make mistakes in the way, I'll cut that video down, but that is more natural to me than reading on a teleprompter or looking at the script and talking it out. That doesn't work with me, that's not very natural. Now, when you are scripting a video or when you're talking about it, the first thing is to figure out the first minute, the first 60 seconds and what you can say in it to set the right expectations. And why would people want to watch this video till the very end? And this is really important because if your video is not interesting in the first 1 minute, people will not watch it. It will not get recommended. We'll talk more about how the YouTube algorithm works in the end of the video, so stick around till the end. You see, I gave you that hook to keep watching till the end. That's what I'm saying. That is important. That you will learn when you'll make more YouTube videos. So that's about the scripting. The second part or the third part is the shooting part of it, right? So when you are shooting a YouTube video, there are essentially 3-4 things to keep in mind. The first and the most important is the equipment, right? People talk about it all the time. These are the most common excuse I hear is, I don't have a good camera, I don't have a good mic, I don't have a good place to sit and make YouTube videos. That's all BS. That's all irrelevant. I'll tell you, I made YouTube videos with my 2 megapixel front camera of my laptop when I was in my hostel as an 18-year-old in 2020. That is how I started. I did not have any fancy equipment. I did not have DSLR, mirrorless cameras. I did not have, Rode mics, Shure mics. I did not have expensive equipment, but I still got started. I did not care about anything. And that is the mindset that you need to have. Just focus on making great videos. However, let me clear one misconception. You don't need to have great video quality, right? If you have to choose between one, always opt for a great audio setup, then a great video setup. If you're watching this video right now, this device, your phone, your laptop is all that you need to start making YouTube videos. And you can invest in just a simple mic. Lavalier mic, you call it. You can find it for about 1,000 rupees, 1,500 rupees on Amazon, and you can order it and get it delivered and just start recording videos from that. That's how I got started. I didn't even have a lav mic when I first got started, but I invested in a lav mic, then I invested in a condenser mic, then I bought a Yeti mic, then I bought a Shure MV7, then I got myself the Rode Wireless 2, and right now I'm on this mic, which is the DJI Wireless Mic 2, right? But this is after 5 years. You don't have to worry about it when you're getting started for your first YouTube video. Just optimize for having great audio quality because people can easily watch a video which is not looking the best but has crisp audio versus a video which looks very good but does not have clear audio. It's very irritating. People would just instantly click off. And so your average view duration, we'll talk about what that means, will go down and the video will not work at all. So focus on having great audio quality. The second thing to focus on is what will you say? As I said before, in the scripting, the first 1 minute has to be the most important. That is your hook. And you have to ensure that every 2 to 3 minutes, you are having a very important hook that keeps people watching. The reason why AVTV just hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube is because they were able to perfect that problem. Most people's attention spans drop after 2 to 3 minutes. And so they need some dopamine. They need a change of environment every 2 to 3 minutes. And they were able to effectively bridge that gap. Whenever they were talking about numbers and research and something interesting, they would put a cut after every 2 to 3 minutes and have some play, have a song, have a joke, have something which keeps the people hooked, which breaks that pattern. And that is why they were able to differentiate from the market and hit 1 million subscribers. They've done it really well, and I appreciate all of you to go and study what they've done. It's really interesting. But coming back to the point of speaking in the YouTube video, the end of the video should have a clear call to action. What do you want people to do now that they've watched the entire video? Do you want them to comment? Do you want them to share? Do you want them to like this video? Do you want them to subscribe to your channel? What is it that you want them to do? And it depends on what your goals are. I would say just focus on telling them to share this video with a friend. That's all that you need. You do not need subscribers. In fact, most channels which are growing right now are growing because of creating great videos which have the best share rate, right? They're the K factor, you call it. The K factor for your YouTube video determines how shareable that video is. So basically, if you share this video with your friend, do they share it with another friend or not? That is the K factor. If you share it with a friend and they don't share it ahead, that's a K factor of 1. If they share it with another person, that's a K factor of 2. And whenever you keep having these K factors, it's an exponential curve, right? So if you share it with 2 friends, each friend shares it with 2 more friends. It just grows like a tree. It grows exponentially. That's essentially what you would need. And then YouTube will realize that this is actually a very good video and let's recommend it to more and more audiences. We'll talk about the YouTube algorithm. Keep watching. So that's essentially how the speaking part of it works. Ensure that you have a clear hook at the start that in this video we'll talk about XYZ things, the learning outcome you can call it. Or if you do not have something educational, put the most interesting joke or the most interesting line or sentence at the start of the video and then get started with the rest of the video. That's called as a teaser to hook people in. We do that with podcasts and it works really, really well. That's how the speaking part of it works. One last thing to talk about is the frame of your video when you're shooting it. Now there are so many things you can do. You can have all types of lighting, studio lighting setup. You can have colors, you can have RGB lighting, all sorts of things you can do. But when you're just getting started, just focus on having a golden ratio in your video. Like if you can see, there's ample of space here. And so this video frame looks very aesthetic, right? So there can be content over here while I'm talking about you and telling you stuff over here. So that's the golden ratio for you and it looks very pleasing and it's there in everything that you see around you, right? Just read up about it, search about it, and you'll realize what the golden ratio is all about. Now, that is the shooting part of it. The fourth part is the editing. And this is where most people get confused. They think that it's all about editing. If I don't know how to edit a video, if I don't have great video editors, my video will not perform. And that is the biggest lie. I have made YouTube videos which have no edits at all. No cuts, no zoom ins, no transitions, no animations, no B-rolls, no infographics, but they still do hundreds and thousands of views just because I have focused on the right idea that we just talked about before. I was focusing on delivering the right thing to them. The most important thing when editing a YouTube video is the rough cut. The cut is the edit. It's not about putting those fancy memes and B-rolls and lower thirds and infographics. Just focus on having a great first rough cut. This is what your audience would see when they will first interact with the video. After that, focus on having great sound effects. I think a great video with the right background music and sound effects can completely change the vibe of a video, right? Now, there are so many examples of this that you can see all around. If you play a mysterious music, if you play a motivational music, it's amazing how much you can achieve by just having the right sound effects and background music in your YouTube video. Then it's about having the right lower thirds and titles. It's basically what you might be seeing over here at the bottom of the video, or titles are basically structures that you've built for the video. So for example, I told you the 3 questions, then I told you, let's help you make the first YouTube video. These are basically structures of the video, right? So part A, part B, part C, and that's how it works. The next part is adding B-rolls. This could be stock footage, this could be your own personal B-roll, this could also be just adding pictures. Basically, anything that is relevant to explaining what the video is about and what you're talking about in that particular video is the B-roll. Now you can find B-rolls for your YouTube channel on places like Unsplash, Pexels. You can also find it on Pinterest, depending on what videos you're making. Another place to find it is creating your own AI B-rolls. And that is what you can do with OpenAI Sora. So with Sora, you can basically put a prompt and get your B-roll for your YouTube channel. And it works really well. I think that is the best way to get the most important B-roll that you would need for your particular YouTube video. Sometimes you just cannot find the perfect B-roll. You can create it now with OpenAI Sora. There's also a Google video generation model called VO, which is coming soon. So stay tuned for that. That is going to change the way people use B-rolls in YouTube videos. But then it's about the transitions and animations that you put in your video, right? So when you are switching from one video asset to another video, you can have a transition. It could be a glitch transition. It could be a swipe in, slide in. There are all types of animations, transitions, and then you have animations for specific things that you're talking about. So that's about that. Then you at the end have infographics, which you might have seen in this video. So these are the elements when you're editing a YouTube video from scratch. Now, once you focus on editing the video and you have the video ready, let's make it live on YouTube, right? That is the next step. When you are making a video live on YouTube, the most important thing to figure out is the title and the thumbnail. The most important thing after the idea is the thumbnail of a YouTube video. That's what people see when they first look at your YouTube video. And the secret to making a great thumbnail is either having your face on one side and having something, a visual or text on the other, and then using the title along with it. So the title and thumbnail go together. The biggest mistake people make is writing the same thing in the title that is there in the thumbnail. That is the biggest blunder. You get two places and you're using both of those for the same thing. It does not make sense. There are amazing things you can do when you have two places to write text or to show things to entice people to click on your YouTube video. So focus on having a great thumbnail which has maybe your face zoomed in, and it can also have some text. You can create thumbnails very easily for your YouTube video on Canva. In fact, the thumbnails for the first 200 to 300 YouTube videos were created purely on Canva. And it's very simple, right? You just have to focus on having, let's say, 3 to 4 words in your thumbnail, having the right colors, which makes it readable, and then having your face and a clear face of yours. That's for the video in which you are talking to someone. If you are showing like a vlog, it could be a still from a video. It could be you in some space and some text in the background. Anything works, right? Just research more and more about it. And that is your thumbnail. The title is really interesting. Now, the best performing titles on YouTube right now are either listicles, are either how-to videos, or are personal stories. How I did this, how I achieved this. It's all about I made this happen, but this happened, right? So that's essentially the example of the best performing thumbnails and titles on YouTube. You can experiment and get better with titles. Just research what's working on YouTube. Just search that particular keyword, for example, coding, and you will see people talking about coding projects, people talking about coding programming languages, people talking about how can you learn something, a roadmap type of a video, or people showing off their life. Ki, this is what my life looks like at Google as a software engineer. So these are all different types of thumbnails and titles that you can research and then try to make up something of your own. Figuring out what works and then replicating that is really important. And then adding your own spin inside the video is what will differentiate you from others. That's really important. Now, the next part of making the video live is the timing. The next important part is the SEO of the video, which you've already done if you've written the right title. But the next part is the description and the tags. The description is where you can mention more information about the video in written format, which will help you rank your video for those particular keywords, right? So that is essentially how that works. You can also mention those same keywords in your tag section of your YouTube video, and there you have it. That is how video SEO on YouTube really works. Then you have to think about the timing. When do you upload your YouTube video? And it's very simple. You don't have to upload a video when people are not watching, right? The way you have to think about it is, when is your audience the most free and available to consume your content? For me, it's mostly people who are either going to job, going to colleges, coming back. So around 6, 7, 8 p.m. works really well for me. But it can also be different for you depending on what type of audience you're catering to. Maybe you are living in in New York and you're catering to people who live in India, your audience is here, or maybe you are living here but your audience is consuming content based in New York, in San Francisco, in some other part of the country or the world. So think about that accordingly. Now there are two free tools you can use for the SEO of your YouTube video. The first one is called vidIQ, the second one is called TubeBuddy. We have used this extensively and it works really well. Basically, if you go on these platforms and you would search for a particular keyword, it will give you the relevant keywords that you can use for that, and then you can just paste it in your title, in your description, in your tags, and that is essentially video SEO for you, done by vidIQ or TubeBuddy. So now let me talk about the video stats. You made the video live, it probably got very little views, but let's look at the statistics. Go on YouTube Studio and go to that particular video and go and look at the analytics part of it. And there you will have a lot of data. You know, YouTube Studio is the best resource, the best friend for a YouTuber. What you can do is go on that platform and just start looking at all the numbers. The first thing you will notice is impressions click-through rate and the impressions number as well. This is basically all the time YouTube has shown your video to people on the platform. And the click-through rate is basically the amount of people who clicked on it. So it's a percentage. Let's say 100 people were showed your video and out of that 3 people clicked. That's a 3% click-through rate. That click-through rate depends on the type of video you've made, the thumbnail, the title, the relevance for the audience, and that is how you will get an idea of the click-through rate. This is the most important metric for a YouTube video for it to get more impressions and eyeballs and ultimately more views. The second is the AVD, average view duration. For example, let's say you have a 10-minute long video and people are watching it till 3 minutes on average. 3 minutes is your average view duration and 30% is your average percentage viewed. So that's how you can understand these keywords. The next thing you can check out is the discoverability. How is your audience discovering your YouTube video? And there are various ways to do that. First one is the browse features. That's where YouTube shows your video on the YouTube homepage, on the feed, and people are clicking it because of that. That's just YouTube recommending your video. The next one, through YouTube search. This is basically when someone is searching for anything, let's say how to tie a tie, or let's say how to make a YouTube video, and they see your video on that page and they click on that and then they watch it. The third one is suggested videos. So these are basically videos that you would see on the side when you're consuming a YouTube video. So that's the suggested video side. This is basically done because your video metadata, which is the description, the titles and thumbnails, is very similar to the video that the person is currently watching. And that's why that video is recommended to you. There are also other reasons, but this is a major reason for it. So that's majorly how it works. The other one is external, right? Now, external is basically where you are getting views because your video is being shared on news articles, or it is being shared just on WhatsApp, on email, on some blog, and you're getting external traffic because of that. So this is not happening on the YouTube platform, but it's happening elsewhere. That's the external source. There's also a demographics tab where you can see who are the people consuming your content. And this will give you an idea for what type of content you can make other than this video. I know very well that about 50% of my viewers are between 18 to 24 age. They are about 60% male, 40% female, and that's essentially my audience. 85% is Indian, and I have a very clear idea of that. So now I know what I can make that this audience would want to consume and watch and learn from. That is really important to have an idea about, because if you don't know who you're making for, you will never succeed on YouTube. You'll just be shooting a shot in the dark, right? And that might work, that might also not work. Now, let's say you're making a video like India's Got Latent that Samay Raina does. That video has a very large TAM, total addressable market. A 15-year-old can watch it and laugh. A 70-year-old can watch it and laugh. And that is why it's able to get this wide viewership. So they don't have to care much about who they are catering to. But for most channels who are creating niche categorical content, they have to focus on this one demographic. And that also determines how you get paid and how much you get paid, which we'll talk about now. Then you have to think about the YouTube algorithm. And this is the most important part. Let me tell you how the YouTube algorithm works in 2025. When you upload a video on YouTube, YouTube shows that video to a few people and gauges who is clicking on this video, how many people are clicking on this video, and it is all about the CTR, the click-through rate, and that is governed by the title and the thumbnail of the video. That's all that you have to focus on. The next step, when someone clicks on that video, YouTube looks at the average view duration. How long is someone watching this video? So if the video has high CTR, has let's say a 45% average view duration, that tells YouTube that people are spending a lot of time on this video and people are clicking on this video as well. Let's suggest this video to even more people. That is essentially how the YouTube algorithm works. And the more this keeps happening, the more your video will go viral. That's how the YouTube algorithm works. They want to optimize for making people stay on their platform the longest, and whatever video will help them do that, they will suggest that video to the audience. There is a new algorithm change in YouTube in 2025, and that is rewarding new creators. So when you make your first YouTube videos, YouTube would intentionally want to push your video to as many people as possible, just to figure out if this video is a good fit for you, for their audience or not. Now you have this golden opportunity in which if you create an amazing video which is relevant to your audience and is well edited, has the right script, has the right first minute, the hook, the CTA, you've optimized the title and the thumbnail, you have a very good chance of striking it big and making that video go viral. And that is the best thing about YouTube in 2025. It is rewarding new creators. There is a new hype button in which you can hype a YouTube creator, which means you can vote that this video is amazing, even if the channel might not be too big. And then YouTube will recommend this video to even more people. There is a trending page for a particular topic for hyped videos. And you can see how much people have hyped that video. So you could be a small creator, but if you create an amazing video which people have hyped, that video will go on the top of that trending page. And that is the best thing about YouTube in 2025. As I said, there has never been a better time to be a YouTube creator than 2025. So that's how the algorithm on YouTube works. The next step is, let's talk about it, brand deals. You've all seen creators living their lavish life. You've all seen them making lakhs and lakhs of rupees, doing international trips, staying in the best places and showing off their life. How are they able to do it? Is it because of AdSense? I just told you I made $125,000 on YouTube in the last 5 years, but that's also 5 years. So it's about, if you divide it by 5, you'll get a very small number. There is another income source for most YouTubers in India, and that is brand deals. Now, when you have brand deals, this is an opportunity in which you can collaborate with a brand that you truly believe in and know that your audience can get value from and work with them in collaboration. And they would pay you for talking about them on your channel, on your distribution. This is the best part about being a creator because you get to work with some of the biggest brands out there. I've worked with Google, I've worked with Amazon, I've worked with 3M, I've worked with some of the biggest companies out there, right? And I was able to do it because I was creating great content and they saw me and they reached out to me. But one thing to understand, the first 1 year, I got paid nothing from brand deals. I didn't even want to do brand deals. And that was purely because I wanted to improve my content and I wanted to become better at just making videos and hearing my audience out. So if you're doing it for money, you might get disappointed because the first year I did nothing. And now if you want to start getting brand deals, the best thing is to just create great content which gets a lot of views and these brands will come to you. That is the best way to get started with brand deals. How does it work? There are various formats in which a brand integration can be done. The first one is an integrated YouTube video. This is where you make a long format YouTube video and you're integrating the brand in a 60-second ad segment, either at the start or at the end or at the middle, wherever it works. The next part is where you have a dedicated YouTube video in which you're just talking about the brand and what they have to offer to the audience. That is a dedicated video. The third one is a YouTube short in which the whole short is sort of about what that brand can do for the audience. It's like a dedicated video, but in a short format. Then you have YouTube community posts in which you're talking about that brand, the YouTube community post format. These are basically the ways in which a YouTuber can monetize. There are also paid podcasts in which there would be some guest. If you have enough distribution, they would reach out to you. You can quote a particular price and they would come on your podcast and talk about their journey, their lessons, or anything that they have to talk about. Now, for brand deals, the best thing, as I said before, is to just make great content. Influencer marketing agencies will automatically reach out to you as long as you have the email written in your YouTube channel about section or in the description of your video. And that is how it works. Now, there are different types of brands, and different brands pay different amounts depending on your audience and where that audience lives, what is their age, what is the gender ratio, and who do they want to cater to. The best audience is the one which spends a lot of money, which is essentially 20 to 35, 40-year-olds who are living in the tier 1 cities of the country, and they are able to spend a lot of money. The channels which are able to make the best money are the ones who are doing documentary content, who are doing finance content, because more mature audiences watching them, they can get paid a lot of money even for few views, because the audience purchasing power is incredible. That's how it works. Versus you have like a gamer, or you have like a typical vlogger which has younger audiences, let's say teenagers, let's say 40 to 50% are teenagers. They might not get paid as much, right? The type of brands they will reach out to them are also going to be different. So that's how the brand deal game works. There's so much to talk in this. How should you price your brand deal quotations? Let's talk about that. I think when I got started, my first brand deal was about 5,000 rupees when I was working with the EdTech brand. That was my first brand deal. I had about 7,000 something subscribers, and that's when I did it. I was in Pune 2021. That was my first brand deal, and I had no idea why is this brand paying me so much money. Back then, it was a huge amount for me. But then I kept raising my prices just to see how much can I get paid. See, as a human, it's your responsibility to quote higher. And when someone cannot pay you that much, then you settle in the middle, you negotiate. That is an important skill for a YouTube creator if you want to make money in brand deals. So you negotiate, right? I started with 5,000, then I quoted 10,000, went to 20,000, saw that many people said no for 20,000, so I went back to 15,000. Then slowly, as the channel grew, as I got more views, that is how I started charging more and more money. Now, that is for the integration. For dedicated video, you can charge a lot more. Typically, it's 2 to 3x of the integration. For the short, it could be 1.5 to 2x of the integration price. But then you also have to think about the brand. Sometimes some brands just cannot pay a lot of money. The D2C brands like the Mamaearth and other brands of that sort cannot pay as much. And the other brands which are into edtech and finance, which have higher monetization ability, and they get a lot of money per user, they can pay you a lot more. So that's how it works. Now, never go for a barter deal, right? Barter deal basically devalues you, and there's a word that spreads in the market that this creator can do barter deal. So why should a brand or influencer marketing agency ever want to pay you? They'll just say, we'll send you our device, we'll send you some gifts, and you talk about it, unbox it, do your own work. That can work for Instagram creators, and then they can start charging afterwards. But if you are genuinely focusing on creating great content, don't do barter deals. Wait until you have great traction, and then you can maybe start charging for what you have to offer. The most important thing is your trust with your audience, right? That is what you have to focus on. I have said no to lakhs and lakhs of rupees. I think it might be close to 50 lakhs to even a crore, because I did not want to talk about that brand. It was not aligning with my values. My biggest thought was, I will never promote a loan product. I will never promote a betting app, fantasy gaming, or anything that I would personally never do, right? So I've never talked about such brands. And that is a value system that I built in 2021, and I'm still true to it till this date. And I've lost money because of it, and I'm completely fine with that. That's how the brand deal game works. You have to think about the average views of your video. It's not about the subscribers. People will have a CPM, cost per 1,000 views. So let's say your video is getting on average 100,000 views on YouTube. That's a very big number, by the way, for a long format video. On this basis, there will be a cost per 1,000 views that the brand will calculate when you give them a quote. And then they will think about if this is worth it or not. So that is how the brand thinks about doing brand collabs with the creator. They also look at how is the content of this person. What are they speaking? What language are they communicating in? What is the comment section all about? So they'll evaluate all of that and then decide if they want to work with you as a creator, as a person or not. That's the brand deal side. Now, there is a way for you to make a lot of money with brand deals, and that is by creating your own outreach method. So the way that works is, think about what content you create and who is it that you're catering to. That is your customer persona and the content you create, uska category. Then make a list of all the brands that your audience would love to use, and then figure out who are the other brands which you would love to collaborate with, which would work very well into your own content. So for example, I work with HubSpot on all of my digital marketing videos, or videos in which I'm talking about upskilling or just talking about business ideas in general. That is a very good brand deal or a brand collaboration that I'm doing for the past 3-4 years, and it works really well. I'm offering free guides and free research tools that they have made. It's a win-win for the audience, for the client, the company, and for me as a creator as well. That is an amazing example of a brand collab. You make a list of all of such brands by researching, by just Googling, finding tons of lists, and start reaching out to them through Instantly and Apollo. These are outreach platforms and tools you can use to find out the emails and the contact numbers of the people working in the marketing, communications, and PR departments of these brands. Reach out to them saying that, hey, I am a creator with so and so following. I make content on XYZ. I make videos about this, and I noticed that what you offer is similar to the videos that I make, and it can be a very good collaboration for us. This is what my demographics look like for my audience, and I'd love to collaborate with you. Talk to them, give your commercials, experiment with that, play around with it, and just reach out to as many of them as possible. Imagine having 10 brand deals, each paying you bare minimum, let's say 50,000 rupees. You can walk away with 5 lakh rupees every month, and that's a low number. I know creators who are making 30 to 40 lakhs a month by just brand deals. 30 to 40 lakh rupees, because they have the right pipeline in which they know what videos they will make in the next 3 months. They know which is the right brand that will go in each of those videos, and they have a mechanism to reach out to those brands or get outreaches from those brands to you, right? So they are reaching out to you and they want to work with you. So they're able to create a great pipeline which efficiently makes those videos, integrates those brands in them, and they're able to make money doing so. And you can do that very well, but that's something to be done on year 2 or year 3. When you're just getting started, focus on delivering as much value as possible, researching about the platform, making great videos, and just in general, learning storytelling, which takes me to the next part of this video, which is the most important skills for a YouTube creator in 2025. Number 1 is understanding storytelling. Learn and perfect storytelling. How can you captivate audience and deliver them the right story that keeps them hooked, that keeps them watching, and gives them a thing to do at the end of the video? How can you make them feel? How do you want them to think about you or about a topic at the end of a video? And then create a story accordingly. Create a structure of the video accordingly. Research, watch as many videos as possible, and look at how are they communicating? What are they showing? What are they saying in the video? And what are the people saying in the comment section? And analyze all types of creators and understand what is working with who. That will teach you a lot about marketing and content marketing in general, right? So focus on that. The next part is to have a mindset of just executing. There is a rule of 100 YouTube videos, which basically says that unless you've made 100 YouTube videos, you cannot say that you failed as a YouTuber. So what you have to focus on is make 100 YouTube videos, experiment with all types of content formats, which I've just talked about: long form, short form, personality driven, topic driven, vlogs and talking heads and documentaries, and do all of that and figure out what is working for you and your audience. What does the audience say? What does YouTube Studio, the stats that I've just told you, say? What is the CTR? What is the AVD? What is the K factor that I've just told you? And research about all of that, and at the end of 100 videos, see what has worked and then make more of what is working. Do that. That is the most important skill of a YouTube creator. it is to execute every day, even after getting a lot of hate. And that brings me to the next part, which is to have a thick skin. As a YouTube creator, you will be pulled down by everyone around you. Your parents will say, "Kya kar rahe ho? Why are you doing it?" Your family will say कि कुछ और नहीं कर सकते, like पूरे दिन बैठ के YouTube पे वीडियो बना रहे हो. Your surroundings, your college students, your batchmates, everyone around you will pull you down. The comment section will say कि ये क्या बना रहा है starting में, आपकी videos अच्छी नहीं होंगी. You will not create great content when you're just getting started, because you're learning, you're becoming better, you're experimenting, you're in that phase of becoming better, right? So you have to be tone deaf to all of them. Focus on experimenting and listening to what your audience genuinely has to say. That feedback. Differentiate from the hate and the feedback. Focus on getting better in every single video you make, the first 100 videos. And this will help you keep executing without thinking about what people are saying. I think in the last 5 years, this has been the most important skill for me as a YouTube creator. I've just executed. No matter what my people are saying, what my audience is saying, what my batchmates are saying, what my parents are saying, what everyone around me was saying. My father was like कि पढ़ाई क्यों नहीं कर रहे हो starting में? Why are you making these YouTube videos? I was like, मुझे पसंद है. I love making YouTube videos. I love documenting my journey. And so I was doing that. And this is the most important mindset. The second thing to focus on is knowing that you have to separate yourself from your video. This I've talked about before in a podcast, and I think this is the most important thing to understand. See, you make a YouTube video. Sometimes YouTubers attach their self-worth with the content that they make and its performance. That is the worst thing to do as a YouTube creator in 2025, because some videos will just not work. You are experimenting, and if you put your self-worth on that YouTube video, that'll just make you feel bad, feel worse about yourself. That will lower your self-esteem, your confidence. That will make you feel कि आपको तो वीडियो बनानी आती ही नहीं है, while in fact you're just experimenting, right? You're just getting started. You have an idea for what might work. If it fails, that's okay. Do not attach your self-worth with your video. I wish I knew this before. That YouTube studio always tells you, 1 of 10 video, which is amazing. You've made the best video in the last 10 videos. Then you get a 10 of 10 video. You feel so bad about that. Do not do that. Be in a state of neutrality. The best thing I've done in the last 5 years as a YouTube creator is to be neutral to the hate and the love. I've gotten so much hate on my videos. I've gotten so much love on my videos, and I'm neutral to all of that. I don't react to the love, and hence I don't react to the hate. I've learned this from Gary Vaynerchuk, and this has been the best mindset that I've been on in the last 5 years. Focus on that. Just focus on executing. Don't listen to love or the hate rate. Listen to the feedback, that is important, but just keep executing. That is what you have to figure out. One more thing that you will often go through is the shiny object syndrome. As a YouTube creator, you might start with vlogs, but you might see some people doing documentary videos, so you're like, wo bhi kar leta hu. Then you might see someone doing talking head videos like me. You might be like, chalo wo bhi kar leta hu. And this is a problem. This is a problem because in YouTube, you get rewarded for a specialty. YouTube has to figure out, what do you talk about? What works for you? And if you do more of that, YouTube will put you in that box and will then suggest that type of content of yours to a specific group of people on YouTube, and that is how you will get views. For example, for my channel, the keywords which work very well is freelancing, video editing, digital marketing, AI. I make videos like this on YouTube, personal branding, and those work really well. When I will make a video on some random topic like how to make a bonsai tree, YouTube will get confused. YouTube will be like, ये क्या बना रहा है? Like, he was making this content which was working very well for this audience, and YouTube was trying to suggest it to that audience, but bonsai tree, it's so out of the blue, it's so weird, out of nowhere you started making this content. That is why most creators don't succeed on YouTube, because they do random stuff, which is fine if you're just playing around. It's okay to do that. But if you genuinely want to make it your career or want to get opportunities from it, you have to be strategic about what you are making, where you are making. probably it's a better idea to make a separate YouTube channel in which you talk about bonsai tree or some other topic, and you keep that separate. That works better than just doing everything at one place. That you have to think about. One more thing is to figure out how do you want your channel to be. Some channels like mine are going to have videos which will be recommending in search. There are videos on my channel which get views even after a year of it being live, because I've made those videos based on the keywords and I'm optimizing on those keywords. And that is why my video gets ranked and keeps getting views every single day for a year, 2 years, 3 years down the lane. So it might get 2,000-3,000 views every day, but it does that on a long period of time. Versus a video which you upload over a weekend, 1 week it gets a lot of views, then it dies down, which are probably like vlog videos or time sensitive content. If you want to do that, that's completely fine, but then you will be creating videos that will work right now. My focus is on creating evergreen content, which I can watch even 3 years down the lane and get the same insights. So you have to differentiate between both and what works for you and play accordingly. Always you will see the keywords for which your videos and your channel is ranking for. Go into the advanced section of your analytics and look at what works. Look at the search volumes for those keywords and how many views are you getting from specific keywords. And then look at which keywords are giving you lesser views. Try to optimize on those and then keep optimizing that and iterating on that. That is a much better way to make YouTube videos, come up with YouTube ideas. The next thing is to keep everything organized, right? So because you're having so many YouTube videos and each video has multiple processes, steps, ideation and scripting and thumbnail and title and editing and making it live and having a brand integration, it's best to have a dashboard in which you've kept everything systematically organized. So you do that. I have made a Notion dashboard. I'll put the link of that in the description of this video. I built it. It's completely free to use. And that keeps everything systematically. That tells me what is the video, when do I have to shoot it, when does that get edited, when does that get posted, what will be the scripting of that video, what will be the brand deal in that video, and I'll do all of that on that dashboard. Next step is to learn editing yourself. The first, I think 200-300 videos on my channel were all edited by myself. And I love that. I think as a creator, if you do not learn editing, you will not understand how does the platform truly work. And that's very important as a creator. Unless you have like a big production house who's doing everything for you, unless you're like a celebrity who's launching their YouTube channel, figure out how can you experiment with the editing, with the rough cut, with the first 1 minute, experiment with those edits, see how the audience reacts to it, create different variations, learn about different types of editing, look at editing of Ali Abdal or Iman Ghazi, look at Ankur Wariku's editing style, look at Ranveer Alabadia's editing style, look at Mohak Mangal editing style, Things Cool editing style, and figure out what are they doing well, what is working for who, and try to see if you can learn something from others, mix a bunch of things, make it your own. That is the best way to go about it. So this is essentially how you create YouTube videos. Last note I want to say, that is, I think YouTube has been the best decision of my life. Never in my wildest thought I had imagined that I'll get to work with companies like Google, like Amazon, like Apple, 3M, all the companies that I've worked with in the past, India's biggest companies. I was 12-year-old when I got my first iPad. From that, 10 years down the lane, I am traveling to the Apple's office, meeting Apple executives, traveling in business class, staying in 5-star hotels. Never in my mind I would imagine that to happen. But that just happened because I was focusing on creating great videos and people noticed that and they reached out to me, and hence I got all these opportunities. Blows my mind. Truly blows my mind. Makes me so grateful for everything that I have. And I think as someone who's watching this video, you don't have to make a goal of becoming an influencer by making YouTube videos. You could just be a software developer making videos, documenting your journey, sharing what is working for you, and you might get a better job. You might get a freelance project. You might get a consulting project. You can use it as a way to build your personal brand. I think every coder, every marketer, every freelancer should have a YouTube channel where they're discussing about what they do, how they think, and their experiences in life in general, just to build free publicity for you, right? Just like brands run ads that you would have seen on this video, you can do your own publicity by being on YouTube. Now let's talk about how ads work on YouTube. So YouTube AdSense, essentially the way it works is that whenever you see a video which has an ad at the start, YouTube has done an auction on that ad spot. It looks at what your content is, who is it for, and basically creates a persona of that audience. It looks at then who is a brand which would be a good fit for this ad spot. Those brands then do a automatic bidding, and whichever brand has the best bid, it optimizes that and puts that ad over there. Let's say the brand pays, there's a thing called CPM, cost per mil, which is basically how much does the brand pay for 1,000 monetized playbacks on your video. 1,000 times when the ad is seen, how much does the brand pay YouTube? Let's say they pay 100 rupees. So then YouTube takes 45 rupees from that and gives you 55 rupees. That's how it works. You can have an ad at the start of the video, at the end of it, in the middle, at whatever part you think is fit. You can also just enable mid-roll ads and let YouTube put ads wherever they see fit. They will analyze the video, look at where are the points which is a good place to have an ad, and they will place it like that. I have made a decision that I will never have ads in the middle of my video because I want my audience to have a good experience. Sometimes you're watching a video, you have an ad in the middle and you just click off that video. I don't want that to happen. I would rather optimize on higher average view duration than just get paid a little bit more through AdSense. Also, AdSense in India works very differently than AdSense in UK and US because of the purchasing power capacity. So on YouTube, because people in the US and UK can pay a lot more, the companies, the brands pay a lot more for that audience. And that means that people who have those audiences who are in the UK and the US end up making a lot more money through AdSense. So if I were to get 3 million views on long format video in US, I would make at least 10 times more money just with AdSense. And so for a lot of creators, they make about 50 to 60% of their earning through AdSense in UK and the US. While for India, that number might be like 10-20%. So what you get as a creator is called as RPM, revenue per mil, which is basically the 55% of the total 100 rupees that, for example, a brand pays YouTube. That RPM differs. For example, the best performing content with the highest RPM are finance videos, are credit card videos, are digital marketing videos, are videos in which money is involved. So there's a popular quote saying that you talk about how to make money, and that keyword, you get the most AdSense RPM for that, right? So that's actually true, because if you talk about money, all the brands who sell insurance or sell money products advertise, and they pay the highest for that because their audience would end up paying a lot to them in the long run. So that's how it works. That is the truth of YouTube and ads and AdSense and brand deals. Now, there is another way to optimize and make a lot of money on YouTube, which is called as selling info products. You can sell your ebook, you can sell your mini courses, you can sell your offline meetups, your seminars, anything that you want to do, live workshops. There are so many ways to optimize and make a lot of money. Unacademy is a huge edtech company which started from just a YouTube channel. They showed that traction. They launched those courses, those tests, and they were able to raise money because of that. Physics Wala is a massive company today because it started from a YouTube channel and they got so much free distribution that they became this massive company, raising millions and millions of dollars. Always understand that as a creator, you don't have to get millions of subscribers and views to get opportunities. You can get opportunities even with a few views and few subscribers. And let me give you an example of that. So I was in 2020 making a tutorial about Python programming language. I made one or a couple of videos. Each was getting like 20-30 views. I was at probably 2,000-3,000 subscribers at that point. Now, it would never make any money. I did not do it for money. I purely did it because I wanted to make a video. I wanted to teach and I wanted to just revise my concepts as well. I did it because of that. So I did that, and there was a edtech brand which saw those videos of mine and reached out to me saying that, hey Ishan, we saw that you teach Python on YouTube. We like the way you taught. We want you to now teach it live on our platform and we'll pay you for that. In 2021, I made over 30 lakh rupees by just teaching Python programming on their platform, on their live classes. That's insane. I never imagined that I would get an opportunity that big by just making a YouTube video which was watched by 20, 30 people. And that just goes on to show you that you don't need to get millions of views. I got an opportunity at 2000 subscribers with 30 views, and you can get an opportunity when you're just getting started. It's all about executing and being in front of people. That is how they will reach out to you, right? So in this entire video, we've just talked about the mindset needed to succeed in YouTube, the 3 important questions to ask, how to make your first YouTube video. We learned about brand deals, we learned about YouTube AdSense, we learned about how does the YouTube algorithm really work. I am so bullish on YouTube in 2025 in general. I wish you all the very best. If you want to become a YouTuber in 2025, write in the comment section, I will be a YouTuber in 2025. Thank you so much. Share this with a friend, hit the like button and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video. I wish you all the best. And if at the end of 2025, you do become a good YouTube creator, email me and send me your story.